Just unpause it. We are now recording because those the workshops people have actually been watching them. I don't know if it's you guys or if it's just somebody else out there on the internet um, who wants to see what we're doing. Okay, so we'll go back to screen share. Bill Sullivan's. So you should be looking at Bill Sullivan's now. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we'll have to um, everybody mute yourselves. I don't have control of that right now while I'm looking at this. No. I can see, at least on the screen here, I can't quite see the top line. So if I'm looking at the music there, if you were reading the music rather than the finger charts, um, that would look like an E into an F sharp, but it's actually, that's a D. Right? Um, let's see. Now this is the version that we worked with last week, or actually it's a little bit different, right? All right. So let's just try it. Slow it down. And we're starting off with that C sharp. The way it's written here, it's written as an eighth note, but I think you could play that as a whole note. Right? That makes sense? All right. Well, I can't see everybody, which is a little strange. But we'll just start at the top. Remind myself to go nice and slowly here, and we'll just give this a quick run. So 2, 3. I That tune is so fun for me. I hope you guys enjoy it. Even at a really slow pace like that, because polkas are usually really ripping along, which I'm sure you saw when you if you watched the Steve Cooney video. I mean, polkas are really driving, wonderful tunes. The way you would play at this in an Irish setting is you'd put tunes together. So let's try that, and then we'll get into our recital. We've got the Kerry polka. I'm going to pull the Kerry polka up and share that if the technology will let me do it. Let's see. You should be looking now, I think, at the Kerry polka. Yes. Was that a yes?
Yes, that's right.
Excellent. So we're going to play the Kerry polka. And the way you would do this in an Irish setting is you'd end the Kerry polka with, see what I, ah, come on, John, slow your brain down. So you would go straight from one into the other. And as you just saw with me, having one melody in my head, Bill Sullivan's, and then moving to the Kerry polka, it's all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a minute. The brain freezes. And so going from one melody to another is something that you have to practice. Even though you know two tunes really well, when you're playing one tune and you're going to jump into another, that transition itself is something that you have to practice. Like everything else, you get better at it as you go. I mentioned the Liz Carroll story last week where she's playing one tune and lilting a different tune to somebody else while she's playing one. So that's how good you can get at it. Let's go through the Kerry polka here slowly, and then we'll work on the transition. So first we'll play the tune, kind of remind ourselves how the tune goes, and then we'll spend a little time on the transition, and then we'll try to put the two together. All right. So here's the Kerry polka. 2, 3. All right. So there's the Kerry. And now we want to practice the transition. Now, this transition I've always found to be pretty easy as transitions go because you have that nice, just two nice strong notes, the exact same note in a row. So you're not going from one string of notes to another string of notes. You just get to go. So let's play the last line. Actually, let's play the whole B part, the Kerry polka, so we're kind of really in the swing. But you can kind of hold in your mind that the beginning of the Bill Sullivan's is that, right? So here we go with, we'll play the B part of the Kerry polka through once, 2, 3. So let's try that again. Again, we're just working on just that transition. I realize I should have pulled up the version that Yvonne sent, which is corrected because I've got the third and fourth lines here twisted up and down, hoping that is not causing too much confusion. Okay, I'm going to come back to being able to see everybody. All right. And just for fun, let's see if we can put these two polkas together. Let's see here, gallery view. There we go. All right. So we're going to start off with the Kerry polka. And again, it helps if not only does it help if you have the melody in your head, but it's really, really important. If you can hear the transition, da ba dee da ba dum dum da dum 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 ba ba da da ba da. If you can hear that transition in your head, it's going to be a lot easier to play it.
Are you putting the music up or not?
I can't. Do you need me to?
Well, I can't play. I'll listen. I can't play by ear yet, but
Well,
yeah,
I'll put it up. I can put up.
I don't know about the others.
I don't know that I can put up both at the same time.
Yeah, that would be hard.
But let's say we'll put up. We'll start with the Kerry Polka. There we go. We'll start there, and yeah, we'll do that. We'll play into the transition, and at that point I'll stop it, and then we'll try to share the next one. All right. So here we go with the Kerry Polka. 2, 3. Okay, sorry about that. I'm going to start again. 2, 3. Okay, Steve, I think
Oh,
it. Can you mute yourself?
hi.
Very good, thank you. Start again. Sorry. 2, 3. Okay, let's see if we can. So that gives you a sense, kind of for how that goes. I don't know if you could feel it, but even at that slow pace, the change when you go into the next tune has that little bit of lift and excitement to it. I talked about this a few weeks ago, the importance, particularly with Irish dance music, of what they call a turn, right? And a turn from one tune to the next tune, that's a big turn. That should be an exciting moment. Um, there are little turns inside of a tune, like when you go from the A section to the B section, that moment should have some excitement to it. And before we get into the recital, I'll tell you, hopefully this will help you remember because it has helped me remember this. Was taking, I was in Boston for a week at like their Irish Music Academy. They had the best musicians in the world. Tommy Peoples is there, Joni Madden, um, and I was taking a class with Tony McManus on the guitar, and he was telling us about sets in Scottish music, which is not the same as Irish, but it has similarities. And he was saying, the Scots play sets of strathspeys, which is a very syncopated style, into a reel as part of their dance sets. And Tony had, I don't think he'd slept much the night before. Matter of fact, I know he hadn't because he said so. And I also think that he might have still been a little drunk when we started our class at 10 o'clock in the morning. Because he said, he walks in, he says, I won't do it again, I promise, I won't do it again. That's how he started the class. But he said, among other things, if when you change from the strathspey to the reel, he says, if you're at a party, it's a wedding, and the band goes from the strathspey to the reel, and it's not orgasmic, don't pay the band. The changes should have excitement in them, right? The changes should they matter. So that's where you want to focus your attention.
Hey,
All right.
John,
Yes.
does being a little drunk help lubricate the fingers? Is that how it works?
It uh, just a little bit, um, at least can give you the impression that you're playing better, um, right? And the funny thing is, if you have the impression that you're playing better, maybe you are. And on the other hand, who cares, right? Um, I know with me, um, I don't like being drunk, never have, but just a beer, like I always as a musician, I always do the first set without a drink, just to force myself, like when I'm not feeling like playing music and I have an audience in front of me, to just say, no, no, I'm not going to use alcohol as an excuse. But then I let myself have a beer at the end of the first set, and the music does feel different, and it can be glorious. That one beer after you've dealt with the fear and the issues of getting up on stage in front of people without booze for me, and then that one drink, and then you come back to the music, it can be gorgeous. Just beautiful, beautiful feeling. And fortunately, this is just luck. I've never been under the impression that having that third beer is going to make it better. So I have my two. I'm done. You know, just very lucky that way. My grandfather, among other things, said, "Drinking is a privilege, John. Don't abuse the privilege." Let's see. All right. Who would? I should have lined this up beforehand to see who might like to go first. I could go first. I could just get it started if you'd like. Okay, I'll go first. And I've set myself a challenge. It's a tune called Planks de Madame Maxwell, which I mentioned in the email. And it's got some figures in it that are challenging for me. And plus, it's just a difficult tune to hold in my mind. But I've always wanted to play it. It also has another challenge that you're going to find on the whistle that we've talked about. It goes underneath the octave. And there are places where the tune goes really high and kind of harsh. So um, you kind of have to alter the melody to make it fit on a whistle. So here we go. So this tune's 350 years old. I went better than I expected it to, actually. Um, and because I'm rehearsing it, and I know where my problems are with that. And one of the problems with that tune for me is breathing, because I want to play it on the flute, which takes a lot more air. And but even on the whistle right there, because I was still a little bit nervous, I did not have enough breath to work through all of those phrases. So it's a harp tune. and we'll probably play it Thursday night at Fiddler's Hearth. Maho Snaps is going to be playing again Thursday at Fiddler's Hearth, 7 to 9 o'clock, and that's on the wish list, so we're going to try to give that a go. So who's up? Who's next? Peggy? Peggy Gallagher wants to give it a go? All right.
Okay, I have been playing on YouTube with a couple of gals, and I have them here with me. So we're going to play the Swallowtail jig, and they do it in a slow tempo, and then they challenge me. So we'll give it a go. If my computer works.
Are you guys ready? Is everyone ready? Yeah. Okay, 3.
I figure it's good if we end the same.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks so much for coming. We couldn't have done this without you. If any of you want
Oh,
to
turn them
learn
off.
any more of the tune on your,
That's a great way to play music.
I've had fun with it. And another thing I've started doing is, again, I have trouble with breathing because I have a paralyzed vocal cord, which is getting fixed soon. But I've started taping myself playing to see where I'm breathing and where I don't want to be breathing to correct it.
That is a really, really smart thing to do. I mean, recording yourself and then listening back is, yeah, that's the thing to do. I find,
Because I wasn't aware of how many times I was breathing until I listened to myself.
well, that means you're already working on the one thing that I wrote down as a comment is
Which is,
I could hear how little air you were getting
mm,
on your breaths.
yeah,
I could hear that immediately.
yeah, yeah.
Now, I did think that it still sounded musical though. Uh, well, it sounded like it didn't sound like it sounded like it was intentional. There was it
Mm.
added kind
Oh,
of,
it was.
it added a nice jiggy quality to what
Mhm.
you were doing. But playing along with other people is a blast.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah, I've had a lot of fun doing that.
talk to everybody else here about this as well. I use software called AnyTune, but there's lots of other packages out there
Mhm.
to slow music down. To be able to hear it, but then also to play along, and you can set it to the speed that you want to
Mhm.
play it at. It's a lot more fun, but it's also teaching you something else that is really important with music, which is hearing what's happening
Mhm.
around
Mhm.
you and adjusting while you're playing. That's a really
Right.
complicated thing to do. You know, it's one thing to kind of have your own internal meter, and maybe you're thinking about your fingers and you're thinking about where the notes are
Mhm.
going, and you're going, "Oops, I blew that," and then, "Oh my God." But when you add the complexity of there being people around you,
Mhm.
that's a whole different world. So it's one important thing with rehearsing is basically being able to do it alone,
Mhm.
being able to hold it as music without people around you.
Mhm.
And the other one is to be able to play with people around you and react
Mhm.
to them, right? Okay, who's up?
Mhm.
I'll go.
All right,
Steve.
Steve.
Yep. I'm. Bear with me, folks. Be kind. I just wanted to show you something that my wife got me for my birthday. It's a homemade or handmade whistle case from Galway. So just wanted to show that. So I'm getting serious here, okay? And my song for today is pretty easy one. I'm going to play it slowly, Green Sleeves, which you all, I'm sure, are familiar with. Let me just get settled. Okay. Oops. Okay, that's it. I had trouble with the half notes or
Well,
the half holes.
first you call it an easy tune, and it's not. That's not an easy melody to play. It's a great whistle melody, right? And it's slow, but slow doesn't mean easy.
Okay.
Um, I mean that's a very tricky one to get right. Um, Gorgeous whistle melody. I'm gonna give you an exercise suggestion, and this has nothing to do with musicality. You're using your tongue at the beginning of every note, which is fine. It's musical. Try playing it where it's like try it on one stream of air.
Mm.
It's just another way to play it. You know,
Mm.
there's that. I mean, I found what you were doing, tonguing each note, musical. It sounded very, very nice. I could hear where you wanted it to go. Right when you didn't quite hit what you wanted, you could still hear the musical intent,
Mm-hmm.
um, and which tells me that you've got pretty good control of your tonguing, which is great because it's really important. But you also want to be able to go that right, just
Yeah, it's smoother. Yeah.
one stream of air. Doesn't mean it's better. It's just it's you want to be able to do that is all. Yeah, great melody, great whistle melody, and great to challenge for the half holes. Not easy to do. All right, who's up?
I'll give it a shot.
All right, Yvonne. Great.
Mine is really simple. It's Oro Shea Bahala, um, which is, I guess, what the Irish consider the true rebel song. And the reason I'm familiar with it is that I participated in an attempt to break the world's record of the most people playing the same tune on guitar while I was in Ireland. And we didn't break the record, but we had a lot of fun. And so it's kind of a marchy thing. I think what you're supposed to visualize is that they've kicked the British out and anybody else who's kind of been an invader in Ireland, and they're coming back home. So it's kind of a welcome home sort of thing. So here we go. like I said, it's simple. It's just one part.
Lovely. That's
There.
a great, it's a great melody. It's a great song. Have you heard it sung?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I would think. I would think.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, when I was in Ireland, everybody that was Irish was singing it. So it was a tune, I guess, that they always learn in school and all that kind of stuff.
Oro cheshavacha welya, oro cheshavacha welya. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of an unofficial national anthem, if you will.
Mhm.
A great simple melody. You put a couple of hundred balrons on that, and yeah, you get that going in Ireland, and everyone's going to sing along. And if there's a strong disagreement in the room, there'll be a fight. All right, great, lovely melody. All right, who's up? Who's up? Connie, I know you've got something.
I'm doing Amazing Grace.
Beautiful.
We'll see about that. Thank you.
Very good.
Beautiful.
you.
Now, we at least on my end, we lost like all of it. You'd fade away real sharply.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that that's because of a setting inside of Zoom. Because I went through this the first couple of online sessions when we tried to play music together with other musicians.
Hmm.
There's a setting in audio settings whereby Zoom automatically sets the sensitivity of the microphone, and that doesn't work for music, and it really doesn't work for whistles.
Ah,
Because as the whistle starts to go, it turns the microphone way down.
oh, because of the pitch?
I think it's supposed to be for loudness. I mean, what it's supposed to be doing is making sure the people on the other end don't get their heads blown off if the sound gets really loud.
Do you want me to try it again, or are you good?
I'd like to hear it again, because then we'd hear all the notes.
I'll try it again.
Have you done the setting? Did you change it?
I don't know how to do that.
Um, if you look for audio settings, it should be in my case, it's right next to the little microphone in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. There's a little arrow.
I see video settings.
If everyone
Um,
Connie mutes themselves, we might be able to, that might also help.
what's that?
If everyone but Connie mutes themselves, that might also help.
Oh, here's audio settings. Okay. Now, so what do I do then?
Go into audio settings. There'll be a little option there right at about the middle that says automatically adjust microphone volume. Turn that off.
Okay. All right, I did that.
Yeah, there's a couple of other settings that help, but that should do it. That should do it. So now I gotta mute me. Thank you, Christine.
Okay.
All right, I could hear more notes, but we still lost a few. I'll send you. No, I know what it is. There's a couple of other deeper settings. We won't try to fix those now.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
send you. I'll send you an email about those. There's under advanced. There's a couple of more settings in there.
okay. Well, I'm sorry about that.
Oh no, I could still hear all the notes. They were all there. It's just we lost the volume. Just drops a little bit. So very nice, lovely play. Great Whistleton. Um, I think that was along with when the Saints Go Marching In were the first melodies I learned on harmonica.
Mm.
When I was in the Peace Corps, I had first in the Peace Corps, I had about a 2 hour walk out to the family that I was staying with out in the country, and I got a harmonica and I would just play the harmonica on.
Oh, nice. That's
I was,
great.
I was known as the crazy CIA agent who played the harmonica. They thought I was a CIA agent because I carried a camera with me wherever I went.
Wow.
And my
Very cool.
Spanish was very, very good. And they were just like, Americans never speak Spanish that good. You're either a Mormon or you're a CIA agent.
Lucky you weren't locked up
Um, I'll,
or work.
if we have
Yeah,
time at the end of today, I'll tell you a story about the military government in Chile.
yeah.
Well, anyway, the military governor thought that we were CIA agents. He
Uh,
called us in, he brought us into his office. We were in our sites for a week, and he pulled us in and just told us straight up, I think you're all CIA agents, and therefore I'm going to only allow you to visit the following schools. And it actually turned out to be really, really good for the program we were running, but that's a whole different story. Um, all right. Who's next? Christine? Oh, wait a minute.
I can go. I'm Tim,
Hi, Tim.
and I thought I was thinking last week. I'm taking this a little too seriously, and I thought, I need to get a little bit more fun involved and just relax and loosen up. So I'm gonna play. Any South Bender who's been to a Polish wedding knows this song. And if you want to clap along and do the hand motions, feel free. It's the chicken dance. And I couldn't find this on the internet, so I might be the first person playing this song on the tin whistle. What do you think, John?
It'll be a first for me. If I knew the hand signals, I'd play along, but I don't know them. So I'll watch Peggy. I bet she knows.
With the help of my Suzuki trained violinist Lily, who has an ear for music, we had to write out all the notes, and I didn't quite get it all done. So it's an unfinished chicken dance, but we're gonna do it.
It's perfect.
And that's all I have.
Yeah, very good.
That is so awesome.
Thank
Well, that was not simple either. There's a lot going on there.
And it's funny because I think I've learned the most and progressed the most in the last week playing the chicken dance.
Bingo.
Behind
No
you.
offense to you, John, but
No. We've got a couple of other teachers here, and they'll tell you that the connection between joy and learning.
uh-huh.
If there's no joy, the brain is disconnected. It's
Yeah.
really fundamentally, which is why the fact that people are basically choosing their own tunes to play is perfect because you have a closer connection emotionally to that tune. That's when you learn.
Yeah.
That's everything. I mean, I had this problem at St. Joe College when some of the other professors, few of them, because it was a great teaching college, would complain. It's like, hey, I'm not here to put on a show. I'm like, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a clown, but you have to at least figure out what the connection is between this material and the student and joy.
Mhm.
You know? Anyway, that was great. That's just so perfect. All right, who's up? Christine.
Sure, I'll go.
Very good.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the Sally Gardens.
Lovely.
Very good. Yay.
Thank you. Yeah, we had the same issue with volume,
Yeah.
but I could hear every note, and that that melody is I cherish that melody. It's
What was the name again, please?
The Sally Gardens.
it's
Thank
down
you.
down by the Sally Gardens. Sir Thomas More. It's based on a traditional melody. Sir Thomas More took songs from the Irish peasantry and melodies and often simplified them, kind of for presentation to the gentry of Dublin, and that's one of his best known. So, the lyrics to that are gorgeous. I think it was Tommy Makem with Makem and the Clancy Brothers did a gorgeous version of that. Um, Down by the Sally Gardens, my love and I did stray. Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Don, I have this if there's time. Remember
Uh,
the flute?
that's a wooden flute.
So yeah, so this is the we chatted by email about
Right.
this. This flute is my great grandfather's flute that he
Oh,
made and brought with him on the boat from Poland, actually. And it's made of African blackwood. And he likely had a set that he used because it has keys. And so these keys, he must have put it together, but he was a gifted musician and made instruments, I think, for almost all of his 13 children.
wow.
Wow
Yeah,
and wow and wow.
I
Right.
know. I
Wow for
know.
the 13 kids and celebrations for the mother.
Yes. So if you would like, if there, I could play it. I have a song, an Irish tune I could play, or else I could play it now, or I could wait until everyone's had their turn.
I think we've all gone.
Bill, you're not playing?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. So the tune I'm going to play is called "Lord in Chinquin."
Oh, I love this.
Oh,
I, I've
good.
been I've been I've been working on this tune just the last couple of weeks.
Oh, good. Small world. Okay.
That is beautiful.
Great. Yay.
Very nice.
I can't remember the details of we just call it Lord Itchy because I'm not quite sure how to pronounce. I think it's Inchiquin, but I'm sure that's wrong too. I've heard the story. There's some stories about he's County Cork, I think. Like we drove by his castle on one of our tours, and I just can't pull up the details of Lord Itchy. So maybe I'll do that once our workshop. Well, I happen Chris will be by later tonight, and she'll remember because she remembers all those sorts of things. I've got at some point, not immediately, I'm going to offer another series of workshops. This was listed as beginners, but that's really not who showed up, right? I mean, most of you, or all of you, have some kind of musical background and at various levels. So I think I'm next time around, I'm going to offer like a children's workshop, children of all ages, and then maybe another intermediate follow-up like this. Oh, by the way, that's a really gorgeous flute.
Mhm.
Yeah, the tone on how many keys does it have?
It has the full set. I don't usually count.
Well, the reason I asked is because I've never seen. I know they exist. I'd never seen a fully keyed wooden flute.
No, I know. And I've done a little research. And so he brought this with him. Sam, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was 1853, somewhere along that timeline. And apparently, I think that what I did read was that many of the Irish flutes kind of followed this pattern. They came, I don't know.
Middle 1800s is right about the time that the flute came into Irish music.
Aha,
And
okay.
it came into Irish music because the Bain system, the metal flutes were invented, and all of a sudden those wooden flutes were lying around being unplayed. So the Irish all of a sudden could afford them.
Yes,
They,
that's
they weren't being played. And the Irish found that they suited the music.
huh.
So they came into Irish music in about the middle of the 1850s. Right about the time that flute came over here. That's a fully keyed flute like that. I've never seen one.
Hmm.
Yeah, you've got a really really beautiful instrument there. All right, so let's have a go at one more. Let's go back to the polkas maybe, and try that as a set. We'll try to play the Kerry polka. I'll try my flute this time. The Kerry polka into Bill Sullivan's, and let's see. We'll get the whole sharing thing going here. Share the screen. Kerry polka. All right, there we go. So, but before we do it, try to remind yourself of the change into the next tune, right? So that change is that. So I'm going to do that change one more time just so that we have it. All right, so because when you're trying to put sets together, that the change is always, if it's going to fall apart, that's where it's going to fall apart. All right, okay, so we'll try the Kerry polka. And nice and slow, John, nice and slow. Okay, 2, 3. Those are just, I'd say, two of the very first tunes I ever learned. Never get tired of playing them, and I'm enjoying the slight differences in the version of Bill Sullivan's that we've got going here from the way I've always played it, and it's just fun to have these slight differences. It's one of the things I'm working on in my own music right now. Is when I'm in a session, and it was happening last night with a tune. Let's see, it's called the map. No, not the. It's the Reel of Rio. You think Reel of Rio? Rio's Brazilian, right? And the musicians at South Bend don't play it the way I've learned it. I learned it from the playing, Miss Crotty. She's an older Clare woman. She's passed away now. Very simple style. So I learned her version, but everyone in South Bend plays a different version. So last night, we were at Fiddler's Hearth playing, and I'm trying to be able to hear what the other people are playing in real time and adjust and play what they're playing. Now, that I'm not particularly good at it, but that's one of the things I'm working on right now, is to be able to hear differences, or come up with a different version of a tune and be able to incorporate those changes into my playing and be able to go back and forth. Better musicians can do that. I've always basically been a singer and a storyteller, and I've been lucky enough to have people around me who are really, really good musicians. And well, I guess I'm jealous. I want to be able to do what they can do. Plus, my definition of being old is when you stop learning. And I found that I am able to learn music at this age faster than I've ever been able to learn it in my life, which comes as a very nice surprise. So I feel like I'm just getting started. In a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. The old Pink Floyd song, "I Miss the Starting Gun," but I'm still in the race. Any questions, anybody? Any questions? Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
be,
just real quickly, when you're putting those two together, so would you still on Bill Sullivan's do that C sharp lead it?
that's a great question. That's a really good question. When you're putting two tunes together, sometimes it happens seamlessly. And sometimes you actually have to work at it. And you kind of have to, sometimes you might even have to alter the end of one tune, or you kind of figure out what the bridge is. In this case, I was not playing that. I hadn't thought about it, so. Yeah, the C sharp there is really nice.
Mm.
It gives that little ta-dam.
No.
Yeah, and I've never done it.
Huh.
It's a weakness in my playing. Those little details, the little connecting notes. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. It's a real strength in Chris O'Brien's playing. She's very, very good at it. But also, Teresa and Liam and Nolan and the folks who play lead instruments all the time. Those are like the threads that hold a fabric together. You leave out those missing connecting notes, and things just don't quite. It fall apart. You lose energy. Those tiny little connecting notes are really a big deal. As I mentioned earlier, often you have to construct something when you're connecting two tunes. It's one of the things I'm doing right now is putting sets of tunes together on my own instead of just playing sets that I've learned off of records. So you're practicing those transitions, and in some cases I said, you have to, they don't quite line up somehow, so you have to figure out what that climb is. Usually it's just a run of notes, just a couple of triplets or just a note, something like that. But yeah.
And do they still have sessions at Fiddlers?
What's that?
Do they have sessions at Fiddlers? Or
the
from the
with COVID, we've been doing the sessions outside in the parking lot.
you. Oh,
On,
those were the. Okay.
on
Good.
Mondays, weather permitting, and since Monday did not permit, we just had we had a session last night.
Yeah.
And as I said, mentioned tomorrow night, I've got a trio with John Weissman and Chris O'Brien, and we're just playing for tips and because it's better than staying at home.
Yeah, but I mean sessions where anybody can jump in and play.
That's what's happening on Monday nights at Fiddler's Hearth. Yes,
Hey,
and
okay.
my I'll mention this as well. Um, one of the reasons I'm doing this is I want to host what is called a slow session, which is people who are coming into the music who are new to it. Um, you have a much more limited repertoire of tunes instead of say we've got a repertoire of 1,000 tunes. We don't know what we're going to play tonight, which is what advanced players do. Instead, it can be no. Here's a very small repertoire of tunes, and we're going to play these tunes every week.
All right.
And
That
then
would be
we might play. There'll be a couple of others we might throw in, right? But any Irish community, you have to have a slow session. And I will be hosting a slow session once we're in a position to be able to get together again. I also want to host what's called a singing session. These are things that the Music Village is very, very much engaged with, which is why I'm very excited about my relationship with the Music Village because it fits very much with the idea of Irish music as a foundation of community. This music, most people who learn Irish music aren't learning it in order to play it on stage. You learn it in order to play music with your friends and your family. And this is how I grew up. I grew up just singing. I grew up singing. I didn't take lessons. You just sang. And you knew hundreds of songs because your dad knew thousands, for crying out loud. Um, and he did, and he does. Although he learned all of them when he was drinking, so now he can only remember them when he's that drunk. And he can't get that drunk anymore, so he can't remember his songs. Um, honest to God, honest to God. But for me, this music is fundamentally social. Even a session, its principal function is people coming together. And the music, as I mentioned, is kind of the threads. It's what gives us structure. It's why we're there in a sense, but we're not really there for the music. It's not a jam session. It's not a gig. It's, hey, we did our work today, and we're just going to sit around and enjoy each other's company. And the music is what provides the structure for that.
I thought it was an excuse for drinking beer, but that's okay.
Well, everyone has their own reasons,
Yeah, I know.
you know, and I enjoy my beer. Make no mistake about it. Um, any other questions?
So no immediate plans for session 3, but you'll let us know?
Yeah, I will be making up my mind here in the next week or so. I need to give myself a week to kind of think. What it is, I'm kind of looking and going, okay, I need to get myself out of town, even if it's just, in a tent somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not in a position in my head to be able to commit and say, okay, for these 4 Wednesdays in a row, I'm going to be somewhere. Unless I figure out that I'm going to be in a tent somewhere where I can get an internet connection, in which case I'll be around a campfire and we could do that.
Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Oh, I've
yeah,
had,
thank you.
I,
Definitely.
um, if you've had half the fun I've had, then it's been a good experience because I have enjoyed this immensely.
It's been a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought that it could work this well with Zoom. I've tried teaching online when I was teaching economics, and that was a disaster. Now, it might be because economics is a disaster, but that's a different topic. Um,
Come on, John. Now you got an economist here.
well, teaching economics to undergraduates is a disaster.
John and I went to grad school in economics together, so yeah.
Oh,
We did. Yeah, but we don't want to end on a sour note, so let's not talk about economics. Anyway, again, I'm very, very grateful Everyone signed up, and I know a couple of people who were there the first time around are going to want to join in the next time around. So thank you to the Music Village. Thanks to all of you, and I will be in touch soon.
Sounds great. Thanks
Sounds
again.
good.
Thanks,
Had a good
everybody.
time. Thanks, John.
It's been a
Bye.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep
Bye-bye.
Bye,
practicing.
everybody.
Yvonne, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thanks again.
I already miss you.
Likewise.